Union Block. In 1856, Cyrus Wyman, a grocery man, moved to Brattleboro from Grafton. The Vermont Valley Railroad had contracted with him to supply goods for the railroad men while they constructed train lines through Windham County. Wyman had done very well for himself and decided to move to a larger town with more opportunity. After arriving in Brattleboro, he opened a grocery store in a small one-story building which stood on the site of the present Union Block. Local paper, the Vermont Phoenix, said the building was torn down and Mr. Wyman and Seth Herrick erected in its place Union Block, a three-story brick building, each owning a half interest. The construction of the building was begun in June of 1864 and completed in the same year. Because the commercial block was built during the closing days of the Civil War, it is thought that the name Union Block came from the patriotic feelings of the two owners. In 1870, Cyrus Wyman and Seth Herrick were among the founders of the Brattleboro Savings Bank. Mary Cabot wrote in the Annals of Brattleboro, Wyman was, quote, a man of strong convictions and active in unpopular movements. A longtime supporter of women's rights, Wyman served at various times as president and treasurer of the Women's Suffrage Association of Vermont. He also campaigned for prohibition and once ran for Vermont Governor on the Prohibition Party ticket. Wyman's business partner, Seth Herrick, was a West Brattleboro farm boy who began his adult life working in local businesses on Main Street. He worked for a butcher and a baker. The bakery was located near Wyman's grocery store, and he and Wyman developed a friendship. Herrick became a deputy sheriff in 1861 and supplemented his income when he also took the job of town tax collector in 1862. Herrick partnered with Wyman to build Union Block in 1864 and began a political career in 1866 when he served in the State Legislature. He served on the town's selectboard for 20 years between 1868 and 1888. Seth Herrick died in 1895. Cyrus Wyman passed away in 1984. It is not known if Wyman ever met Amedeo de Angelis. In 1902, at the age of 15, DeAngelis emigrated to the United States and Brattleboro. He immediately began working for his uncle, Bernardo Mancini, in a shoe repair business located in the basement of the Union Block. Amedeo was born in Popoli, Italy, and learned the shoemaking trade from his father, who had a large shop on the outskirts of Rome. Amedeo attended school until he was 15 and came to America when his uncle invited him to Brattleboro. Amedeo's younger brother, Charles, came to Brattleboro a few months after Amedeo, and he also worked for Uncle Mancini. In 1905, Mancini sold the shoe repair shop to 18-year-old Amedeo, and Charles worked for Amedeo before branching out on his own. Soon there was a DeAngelis shoe repair shop in the Union Block and another one on Elliott Street. Two more brothers came to Brattleboro, and the older brothers helped them get established. Amedeo and Charles both bought property in the working-class section of Brattleboro on Canal Street and South Main Streets and became landlords as well as shoe repairmen. Amedeo married Elvira de Scipio in 1906. Charles went back to Italy to marry Gina Zeno in 1914, a marriage arranged by the DeAngelis parents. Charles returned to Brattleboro with his bride, and the families soon had a very public falling out. Three of the brothers and their wives charged one another with slander, thievery, and operating tenements filled with prostitution and illegal alcohol. These court charges were published in papers throughout Vermont. The families got together and settled their differences out of court. In 1917, Amedeo de Angelis bought the Union Block from Frederick Childs, former postmaster of Brattleboro. Childs had purchased the building from the Herrick-Wyman heirs the previous year. At the time, there was a clothing store, millinery store, confectionery store, real estate office, dental office, printing office, and photography studio in the building. The third floor had apartments. Amedeo de Angelis continued to operate his shoe repair shop in the basement. DeAngelis continued with his shoe repair shop and rental property ownership. He was a successful landlord and businessman. In 1946, he turned the shoe repair business over to two of his sons, Anthony and John, when they returned from World War II. In 1951, Amedeo de Angelis died while vacationing at his winter home in St. Petersburg, Florida. As part of his will, his heirs were instructed to purchase a bronze plaque with his name prominently displayed, including the United States seal located on either end. The plaque and installation cost about $12,000. If you look up, you can see the plaque today. DeAngelis was very proud of his Italian heritage, his American citizenship, and the way he was able to pursue the American dream.